Wheel of Time author dismayed that George R.R Martin worked on Elden Ring. Now, I'm not an expert, but I have been told that this gentleman, Brandon Sanderson, is not the actual author of Wheel of Time. The first author passed away and left a note on how to keep writing, and Brandon Sanderson picked it up. Is this true? Is my information correct? Doesn't matter. What I do know is that there is absolutely no way that Brandon doesn't come out from this as being salty. I mean, he could have had all the flavors on the universe, and he chose to be salty. Dude, if you're a fan, if you're a nobody, if you're someone outside of the business of writing books, and you're picking on Martin for not writing his next book, understandable. But when you're actually part of the same industry as he is, and you're doing this, it comes off as a little bit petty, doesn't it? It's almost like, oh, why didn't they hire me? Now, let me tell you something, right? So he complains with the fact that Martin doesn't like video games, and because he doesn't like video games, he should have no business writing for a game, and, you know, his book isn't out yet, so he should focus more on the book. Here's the issue. You don't need to actually play video games in order to collaborate with a video gaming company. Like, for example, the Dune franchise. My god, I missed the Dune franchise. Apparently they're going to make some new games about it. But yeah, the Dune franchise, I mean, the book Dune has nothing to do with video games. But the book was then taken by a video gaming company, and they used the story in order to make the game. So I don't have any problem if a person who doesn't like video games writes the story. In fact, it's possible that many times, because that happens, you might actually have a better game. Now, the problem with R.R. Martin writing the story for Elden Ring is like, dude, your fans wait for the next book. Like, your fans made you rich and famous. They put you on the map. Like, without your fans, you would be nothing. So can you please, if it's not too much to ask, give something in return to the fans? Because now, you really don't have to do it. Like, you don't have to write that next book. There's nothing forcing him to write that next book. But it would be a nice gesture for the people that made him a millionaire to write it. As such, maybe he shouldn't be involved in other projects. That's why the fans are being upset. You know, because they feel betrayed. And they feel betrayed because it's their time and money that they invested. So they invested time in order to read those books. And they invested money in those books in the hopes that it's going to have a conclusion. So the way he does it is upsetting fans who, yeah, like, they feel cheated. Now, do I actually think that R.R. Martin managed to write a good story for Elden Ring? Probably not. I mean, dude, this is From Software. Their games, yeah, sure, they have story. But their story is kind of different than other games. I mean, you get from a lot of item descriptions, and you get it from the environment and other things. And it's usually, like, not a very complex story like Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Okay, you don't get that type of complex story. You get like an interesting story, but it's interesting from different points of view. So I don't really expect them to be the masters of storytelling. I mean, what is the story of Bloodborne? You know, you can say it within 2 minutes. I can describe to you what Bloodborne is about with 2 or 3 minutes. Now, ask me the story of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I mean, there's so many characters, and there's so many plot points, and there's so many ways it can go in various directions. So, right, like, you can't really compare the From Software story with an actual rich lore universe. So I don't really think that R.R. Martin even spent that much time doing this. The only reason he is there is so that the company can market his name. Because at the time when this game was announced, Game of Thrones was still out there. It was still really famous. R.R. Martin was still, like, everyone was talking about it, and everyone was still waiting his book. So that is why they hired him. They literally hired him for PR purposes. And it probably worked. I mean, a lot of people are interested to see what is going to happen in this video game. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. I mean, maybe this game is going to have a very rich and detailed story that it would take me 2 hours to explain. I doubt it. I think I will still be able to tell you the story within 2 or 3 minutes. But we'll see, you know. So, Brandon Sanderson, yeah, kind of salty. They went to George and made the game with George, and I'm like, George doesn't play video games. George has no idea. Alright, Mr. Salty. Alright. They should have gone to you. They should have hired you instead. Let me know what you guys think, though, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.